Welcome to this new video of the Ceuster Academy. In this short video I will show you some examples of projects, and based on those examples I will present to you the three main characteristics of a project and will give you the definition of a project according to the PMI. The presentation contains 5 points, in fact 4 examples, and at the end the definition of a project. The first point is about some projects, some examples of projects from my hometown in Antwerpen in Belgium. The second part presents some examples of projects from Prague, the Golden City, where I live now. Then I look into some large international projects, and the last set of examples is about some small projects, things you probably can easily relate to. Let's first have a look at Antwerpen, and the first project is the town hall. The town hall is from the 17th century and is still used today in the town of Antwerp as the main building for the town council. The second building is the world famous train station. The train station has been elected to be the most beautiful train station in the world. It still looks wonderful. It's next to the zoo in the center of the town, and today it integrates, or it contains, the complete modern infrastructure for high-speed trains and multi-level of access ways to different tracks. It has been a very profound renovation, but the outside view of the station has kept completely original. In Prague, Golden City of Prague, we find first the dancing house. It's a very modern concept of a house, which is in fact integrated into the more classical, older architecture of the original buildings. It's a very beautiful attraction for many tourists. The second project in Prague is Kafka's Turning Head. Here you see the head from Franz Kafka, the famous Prague writer, that is in fact composed of different layers that are turning around, and from time to time you will see the head intact as one whole, and you can recognize the image of Franz Kafka. Prague is divided by the river, by the Moldau, so there are a lot of bridges, and the most famous bridge is Charles Bridge, which is a very old bridge connecting both sides of the Moldau. It's a very important touristic attraction, and it's a very beautiful bridge in the town of Prague. International projects, well, my selection is like, first of all, the town of Petra in Jordan, which you may recognize from the movies of Indiana Jones. You remember where Indiana Jones was trying to recuperate the Holy Grail. It's a wonderful building. When you look at it from the outside, it's completely carved into the rock. Inside there is basically nothing. Where is the Holy Grail? I don't know. I didn't find it. But the inside, like you've seen it in the movie, is in fact not the actual inside from this building. The second large project is one of my favorites, is the first man into space, Yuri Gagarin, which was a very exciting time in the second half of the previous century, with all the events going on, the space race between the United States and the Soviet Union. My last international project that I selected is the Kapellenbrücke in Luzern, which is a covered bridge connecting both sides of the town. It's a very beautiful bridge that is still in use today, but it's also much visited by tourists from all over the world. Projects don't always have to be large or important or very famous. We also can have small projects. For example, a holiday. Here you see some pictures from my holiday in Hawaii. A holiday is a project. We have to do some preparations. It's not just about leaving. There are some things we have to plan. Renovating buildings or renovating a house is also a very interesting project. It can be a very exciting and very riskful project because you never know what you will find when you start renovating old buildings. Parties, also important, can be considered as projects. Basically, they are projects. And this case, this is the anniversary party for my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. You only see the food, but there are a lot of other things that have to be organized. And of course, my last example, which may be very close to you, is getting your CAPM or PMP certification, which is a project because you will have to do certain things. You have to study to get that certification. The same would be for your master's degree or a bachelor's degree or any training or certification you want to do. Now, when we look at all these projects, what are the elements we can find that are in common? First of all these projects are unique. Uniqueness is a very important element of a project, but we can discuss how unique a project has to be. The first space trip of Yuri Gagarin was very unique. Later, people were repeating similar things, so the uniqueness is less. Nevertheless, every trip to the moon or into space is in fact a new project, and they are using information from the previous projects to improve the result. Another element is that all these projects had a start and an end time. They're limited in time. A project starts and finishes when the project is completed. When a project is completed, or what it means, we will see later, but in the classical approach, a project will be completed when all the work has been done. When we look at an agile approach, we also have a limited time to do the project, but we will consider the ending of that project a little bit differently. We don't look at the fixed scope because we know in agile projects that the scope is not fixed. So defining that the project is completed is a little bit different from the classical or waterfall approach to a project. The last elements of the definition are a little bit more difficult to identify from the examples, but basically we can say that projects relate to products, services, or results. A result is a little bit more tricky to understand, but consider that a company is having processes for production. At that moment, when the company is doing those processes, a project can be defined to improve the process. That means that the process or the project will have a positive result on the process, typically a savings. Basically, we can define a project as a unique undertaking where the time is limited and it relates to a product, a service, or a result. That's what I wanted to say to you. That's why I wanted to explain to you what a project is about. What is a project? It's important to understand this for the remaining part of all the videos I am making and I'm sharing about project management. There are a lot of videos that are available, so if you didn't subscribe to the channel yet, you can subscribe by pushing the subscribe button, and of course you can share all those videos with your friends, your peers, and anybody who would be interested in this type of information. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye bye.